What is up, guys? Your boy Daze is back. The semester is over and it is time to get back to some YouTube greatness. It feels good to be back and making videos again. Been super busy with college and everything. You know, it's almost my final semester, getting ready to graduate. But enough about me, man. Let's just get to the video. Last year I did my game of the year of 2016, which went to, I believe that was that Uncharted? Was it Uncharted 4 last year? Yeah, I believe it was. So now it's 2017 and it's that time again. It's the end of the year. Video games have been played, some video games have been skipped, but it is time for the game of the year discussion. And I got a good feeling that my list is going to be very different from everybody else's. Some people are going to have my same number one, but I do not think the majority will. I can go ahead and tell you right now that this is going to be a top 5 and not a top 10 like last year. I believe that when you do top 10s, those bottom 5, you don't really need to discuss them, so I left them off. And I can guarantee you that in this top 5, you will not see Horizon Zero Dawn. Most overrated game of 2017. You will not see Legend of Zelda, did not play it, do not have a Switch. You will not see Mario Odyssey, did not play it, do not have a Switch. Those are why those games are left off this list, just in case you were wondering before the list even started. But let's get to the list and let's talk about why these games made into the top 5 games of 2017. Coming in at number 5, we have Injustice 2. Now, there's a sort of misconception that the first Injustice was the first fighting game to show us that you can have a good story in a fighting game. No. That was Mortal Kombat 9. Same studio, NetherRealm, yes, but Mortal Kombat 9 did it first. It showed us you can have a good story and be a fighting game at the exact same time. So it just translated into Injustice, which was perfect for, because it's DC, and we all know that DC has the best storylines in comics. You know, they're 10 times better than Marvel with the comics. The movies is a separate story, but they're whooping butt with the comics. They're even great right now with Rebirth. So to bring that into video games, a fighting game nonetheless, give it a great 2 to 3 hour story, Injustice 2 delivered on that. And Injustice 2 has changed the game for fighting games in general. You can no longer have a fighting game without a good story mode and expect to be considered one of the greatest fighters. The Game Awards just happened a couple weeks ago. Guess which game won Best Fighting Game? Injustice 2. The fighting games this year don't even compare to what Injustice 2 brought to the table. Injustice 2 has revolutionized fighting games. That either the fighting games that come out now, they can either evolve or they can die. That's the only choices they have. We had 2 other fighting games come out this year. We actually had a couple others, but they're small time. Let's talk about the 2 big ones. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That game had destruction written all over it before it even came out because of the roster and because of the characters that were hidden behind the DLC paywall, and the fact that they purposely made Chun-Li ugly just so Captain Marvel can look good. And let's not talk about Marvel and the fact that they was pushing these Disney MCU characters. No X-Men are to be found. So that is a major problem coming from this game before it even came out. And then when it comes out, what does it do? You don't even hear about it. Nobody's talking about this game right now. So the fact that no one's talking about this game means it's just wiped off the radar. And that's even compared to the other game that came out this year, which was Tekken 7, another fighting game. Let me tell you where Tekken 7 failed. Tekken 7 failed to have a compelling story mode. It had a story mode. It tried. It tried to do the Injustice in the Mortal Kombat route, and even Street Fighter V for that matter, of including a story mode. The story mode was bad. It was awful. The story was told, complete trash. And not only that, but everything else about Tekken 7, it was just another Tekken game. Absolutely nothing special about it. Oh, we got a little update to graphics. Injustice 2's graphics are 10 times better than yours. So it's like, you did nothing special here, Tekken. You're just another Tekken game. You're nothing special, and your story mode sucked. If your story mode would have been good, you wouldn't have been just another Tekken game. But, sorry to break it to you, you're just another Tekken game that fell off everyone's radar. Your sales didn't come close to Injustice 2. Your critical score didn't come close to Injustice 2. Both of those are just hashtag facts. Now, I'm talking about this game way too long because I got 4 other games to talk about on this list. So let's move past Injustice 2. Injustice 2 number 5, just want to reiterate one more time. Number 4, Resident Evil 7. I feel this has been left off a lot of people's top 5s lists because of games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda. But Resident Evil 5, it did something that we didn't think was even possible at this moment, and that was bring Resident Evil back into prominence. I believe this game sold around, what, 6-7 million units total or something like that. Resident Evil is back, and in first person nonetheless. In first person, in the very first trailer, we was like, man, this is definitely PT inspired, and it was. Now, could there have been a little bit more creature variety? Yeah. Could have been a tad bit scarier? Yeah, I mean, I was pretty scared by it, but, you know, it takes a lot for a video game to actually frighten me, since I don't play them how they're supposed to be played, you know, at night in full pitch black. I play them when I want to play them. I was playing Resident Evil 7 in the day because I couldn't wait until just to play it at night because I was so excited to play it. Resident Evil 7, it's a great game. The best horror game of the year by far. And it had to compete with games like Outlast, you know, the second Outlast that came out. It is the best horror game by far. And Resident Evil is back on top where it belonged. That's where Resident Evil belonged, was on top of the horror / zombie genre, and it's back, just not with like actual zombies this time. Coming in at number 3, and then this is what's gonna throw people for a curveball. I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't even heard of this game. And that's Dreamfall Chapters. Now, if you want to get technical, this game technically came out for PC already before it came out this year. But this finalized version with the updated graphics came out this year on PlayStation 4, so I'm counting it as a 2017 video game. And as I said with Injustice 2, how Injustice 2 revolutionized fighting games, and you can no longer go back when it comes to fighting games because of what Injustice 2 did, I believe the same thing belongs to the Dreamfall Chapters conversation, except with adventure games. I think that Telltale Games now has to step it up on how they do adventure games, because what Dreamfall Chapters did, to where its choice and consequences literally played out for the first 4 episodes, and it made it feel like they were really there. And when we get to episode 5, that's a different story. It's just like every other video game that has choices. You really only get one ending, right? 1 or 2 endings. That's all you're gonna get. Because this is a very small studio, I doubt they would be able to, you know, create 12 different endings, you know, for this small crowd-funded game, you know, essentially. So, but the fact that for the first 4 chapters, they had you believing that these choices were truly legitimate, and some were. You know, you really did get to pick who lived and who died by the end of that game based on what you did. And you can even ruin your relationship within the first chapter, you know? Your life is determined by your very first choice. How your life starts out, you know, it's your very first choice. Dreamfall Chapters has did something with adventure games that adventure games can no longer go back on now. Adventure games have to be at this level or they're forever going to fall. They're forever going to fall and not be as good. And people are going to be thinking, well, if Dreamfall Chapters can do it and they barely had any money and they had a small studio, why can't this group over here do it? Why can't Telltale do it? I understand Telltale just laid off 25% of their company, but I mean, they've been doing this for years, you know? So why can't they achieve the same greatness that Dreamfall Chapters has? Dreamfall Chapters is the best adventure game I have played in years, probably since the very first season of The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us. It's that good. It's up there. It's phenomenal. It's longer. And Telltale could take notes from that. It's longer than that. I think Red Thread Games are going to put people on notice the same way that CD Projekt Red put people on notice when they came out with The Witcher 3. It's the same thing here. Alright, coming in at number 2, I don't think a lot of people are going to have this in their top 5 either. Assassin's Creed Origins. When I first played about the first hour and a half of Assassin's Creed, I was like, it's a good game, but I don't know if it's going to make top 5. Didn't even know if it was going to be top 10. But the more you play, the more you see in that game, the more you understand that this is the best Assassin's Creed ever. It's better than the Ezio trilogy. It's better than Black Flag. This is the most realized and accomplished Assassin's Creed I have ever seen. Alright, the attention to detail in this game, like when you go into pyramids and the carvings on the walls, to just when you're walking down the street and the people walking through, you're, you know, it's Egypt, so you know they're carrying like their clothes on their head and they're doing all of that. That is great. So I can't believe that Assassin's Creed came out and became an RPG nonetheless. That's another great thing it did. It turned itself from this open world action adventure, you know, just Assassin's game pretty much, to an RPG. That's what Assassin's Creed is now. And again, it can't go back. All of these games revolutionize and change something either within their own franchise or within their genre. And they can't go back now, which is why when you think of it that way, you can't take these games out of your top. And I don't understand how some people don't have these games in their top, because they truly belong there, especially when you put it in that context. They are changing genres, they're changing their franchises, and they're making it not only better, but to where you have to keep getting better or you're going to fall short. And that's pure greatness. And Assassin's Creed did the same thing, not to mention the progressiveness of finally having a black protagonist and a 99% black cast in the game. The only not black people are the Romans. That's it. That's the only ones. Other than that, Egypt is well realized. It's the first time in history we've ever seen Egypt as Egypt. Gods and kings effed up. Exodus effed up. All of it kept effing up. But guess what? Assassin's Creed Origins 100% pinpointed and nailed Egypt for the first time in media history, as far as I know. Congratulations Ubisoft, congratulations Assassin's Creed Origins. And I'm glad it's selling well too, doubling the sales of Syndicate. Thank God, because if this would have sold bad, bet we would never have seen another fully 99% black game ever. We would not have ever seen one. All right, now coming in at number one, the big one, the game of the year 2017. I know some of you are going to agree with this. Persona 5. What do I need to say about Persona 5? There has not been a game as stylish as Persona 5, not in 2017, but not ever. I can't think of a game that is as stylish as Persona 5. Other than the other Persona series themselves, because that franchise is built on style, but Persona 5, again, like the rest, took things to another level. And I'm glad that, you know, they said that this is the end of the trilogy between 3, 4, and 5, like that universe. This is the end with Persona 5. Now, it does have more games coming out. There's going to be a Persona Arena Ultimax, Persona 5 Arena Ultimax game, and the story is going to continue for a little bit further. But, you know, just the trilogy, for the people that don't play those extra games, the trilogy's done of that universe. And Atlas is moving on from Persona for right now. Whether they come back or not, I assume in about a decade they'll probably come back. Like I said, we got to get these other Persona games out of the way. These spin-offs, essentially, despite the fact that they continue the story, they're spin-off style games. Get those out of the way, then we can return to the Persona franchise. But Persona 5, it tears apart any other game this year. It tears apart your Legend of Zelda. It tears apart your Mario Odyssey. It 100 times tears apart your Horizon Zero Dawn that got shut out of the Game Awards and didn't win a single thing. That's what Persona 5 is, man. The best RPG of this year, probably the best RPG since Persona 4. Yeah, I think I can almost, okay, Persona 4 Golden. Because when we get in the whole Mass Effect, okay, so. But yeah, I can say it's the best RPG. You gotta get The Witcher in there too. That's a debate for another video. But 2017, it was Persona 5's year for me. The way the story was told, the fact that it didn't come off as a shonen in the way that Persona 4 did. I love Persona 4, absolutely love it. I put it above Persona 5. But Persona 5 being different in that way was much needed. We didn't need another shonen to come out of Persona. That's what Persona 4 was, and it worked well for it. Persona 5 is a lot more mature with its themes, with its characters, with the way people talk to each other. There's not really any fan service in the game, unlike Persona 4, which had like a ton of fan service. But there's no fan service in the game. The only complaint, it's not even a complaint, it's really just a little tick. I just wish we got to spend more time with the group as a whole, because it took so long in that game to get your partners together. I feel like it took longer than it did the other Persona games, way longer. And I think that was a big mistake on their part. They shouldn't have did it that way. But everything else tells me that Persona 5 is game of the year. Okay, like I said, I don't see anything beating it. Y'all might have some that beat it. That's it. That's the beauty of video games. Everybody has a different game of the year. Though if you have Horizon as your game of the year, oh my god, go away. Oh my god, go away. But that's it for this video. Game of the year. Let me go through the list one more time. Number 1, Persona 5. Number 2, Assassin's Creed Origins. Number 3, Dreamfall Chapters. Number 4, Resident Evil 7. And number 5, Injustice 2. All revolutionary games in their own right. And I believe that is what needs to be celebrated when it comes to video games. What have they done specifically for that genre, for that franchise? What have they done, you know? So that's it for this video. I'm glad to be back on YouTube. I can't say videos are going to get more frequent than they ever were. I was never a very consistent person. I upload when I upload. I'm sorry. But I'm glad to be back. And it's good to make videos again. So until next time, bye-bye.